What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. And shout out to my Muslima, my written voice. Inshallah, you'll give me something else to call you, sister. Inshallah. And Jazakallah khair for the information. Because my sister actually made me aware. I feel like somebody else may mention it too. Anyway, that Oprah was doing this piece about this documentary that's supposed to air on Sunday. This Leaving Neverland with these new accusers, who now claim they were abused. I tell you guys all the time, I'm sick of these pop-up victims now. Everything's a pop-up victim. Oh, I'm a victim. Wait, I'm a victim. You see, goddamn it, I'm a victim. You understand? And I really am a victim. Shit. All I gotta do is have melanated skin and live in this asshole of the devil, and I am a victim. I trump all victims. You understand me? And so, but as somebody was stating, I always speak of Oprah, or I've spoken on her a lot, I should say. And I love Oprah, I'm just somebody who lives in a space of gratitude, and I love more than anything to see somebody else go. I do. I love to see you really go, and her story is so touching to me and exciting and all those things, and to see where she has come to and all those things. I just love her. Her power is even in her walk. If you watch her walk, you just see power. But I can walk and chew gum at the same time, everybody. And I always tell you, when you love anything or anyone, you can't just love them for the good and accept them for the good. You got to be able to tear them down and point out the bad as well. Y'all know I will fight you in the street, you and your family and your mama, over my wife of 25 years, Janet Jackson. So I'm saying we celebrate our 25th this summer. See, right there, you see, and stuff. Plus, y'all know I just had a birthday on Monday, and Janet had flew in. That's why I had to get that live stream out the way, because what y'all didn't know when I was in the live stream is Janet was just off camera. You feel me? And at one point I thought about bringing her on camera, but last minute we said it's not a good idea, because Jan wanted to be, she just wanted the day to be about me. So we just scratched that and stuff. But we celebrating our 25th this summer and everything and stuff. But y'all know I will fight you in the street, you and your family and your mama. But I'm the first one to criticize Janet. You understand? You can't proclaim your love for anything or anyone if you're not willing to be honest about that. You got to be honest. You got to be honest. Now, I've pulled some things, and we're going to get into reading, and where I need to strike Oprah down, I will do that. I will say, just out the gate, I got to find out who said this now, because I don't want this to be I don't want you to think this is my quote, or that I'm even saying it, or that it's from me. I've got to find this. Give me a minute, y'all. It was actually Mika Maggie. Maggie. Who said this? Jedi, I had to let you know that Oprah is going to interview the accusers of the documentary Leaving Neverland next week on OWN and HBO. So that was a revelation. I know it was going to be on OWN and HBO. Appreciate you, Mika. I know you speak of her in such high esteem, and I do. But I believe you will be totally disgusted at the fact that with her huge following, she is, in a sense, promoting the documentary. That's so right on point. That's my first critique right out the gate. In fact, that was the thing that really pushed me to do this video. You know, appreciate you, Mika. Um, because again, I didn't know until I saw my Muslima was saying some things, but then I didn't think about it uh, that way. Excuse me. Somebody else put somebody put cancel Oprah, boycott Oprah. Darnell Lewis, shout out to you. You know, so uh, clearly people are starting to get riled up about all of this. You see, and I think that is really the key point there that Mika makes. You know, like there's enough media that's going to be covering this. White devil media. This isn't a get that you need, Oprah. Now we're going to do some reading and find out, is she interviewing them? Is she what is she doing? You see, let's find out what it is that she's doing so we can identify what it is that we cannot stand and hate. You see what I'm saying? And we'll drag for filth. All right. Now, this is from Variety. All right. And uh oh my god, I just got a brain fart. I was gonna say, damn. Anyways, let's read. Um. Oh, alhamdulillah, all knowledge is with Allah. I was gonna say that, if I had known about this, I probably would have put it in the piece that I did on Michael owning half of Sony, and not just all the shit that he owned and what that really means. And I really want people to see that. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you watch it. It's the one that I did before this one, and because as I said in the piece, I'm so sick of people saying, he owned the Beatles catalog. That doesn't even begin to strike the surface. There's a 500,000 songs in this damn catalog. And in addition to that, you had Michael's own personal catalog, which they quoted as the most comprehensive and most valuable catalog in music, period, anywhere on earth. The Beatles are a small little thing. It's like you have this whole cake and you just want to talk about the statue they had on top. Nobody cared. It was the cake that mattered. So I would have added this to that. All right. But alas, when we learn, we learn. All right. And now, after Neverland, inside taping of Oprah Winfrey's look at Michael Jackson's abuse allegations. So this suggests to me, just in the header, that this was a parallel or quasi-parallel production to the Leaving Neverland, because it says inside the taping. I will have to read, because my understanding is that this bullshit airs on Sunday, and so when was that taped? And okay, read, Jedi, damn it, read. All right. Oprah Winfrey knows that she's courting controversy with her new special After Neverland. Okay, so that's actually, they're calling it that. An interview with two men who have accused Michael Jackson of sexually abusing them when they were young boys. Just a second. Just a second. Now, whether it's true or not, the intellectual mind and or individual would have to ask if this has anything to do with it. I don't really see Oprah at this point in her career, her level of achievement and success. I don't see her having to, like Steve. I don't see her having to be in the money game out here, as Steve Harvey would say. You know, and it seems to me that Oprah's ethics are not driven by money. But this is interesting timing. You know, um, I think I want to know now, when was the documentary done, the Leaving Neverland, and how that correlates, because she couldn't have predicted that she was going to lose $58 million on Weight Watchers stock. $58 million is not a lot of money when you consider she has two private jets, each of which costs more than that. Um, it's interesting. It's interesting. I want to stick to the main thing. We'll come back to this. All right. We'll come back to it potentially. I want to stay on learning about this interview. Um, where was I? She's with her new after Neverland, an interview with two men. So she's gonna be with these two assholes of sexually abusing them when they were young boys. She never. She never. Back when when Michael was in the thick of all this, I don't really recall her speaking affirmatively or negatively about it. Like, uh, you know, I don't remember her saying that she believed the allegations or not, you know what I mean, or anything like that. But to that point, then it would seem like, well, if you didn't have shit to say then, why you got shit to say now? And we could be premature, everybody. She could be bringing them on there to lash their fucking ass and say, how dare you, or at least put some hard questions to them that's not going to be put to them by white media. In fact, before I read anything, I want to make this proclamation. I'm looking for her to. Remember that dude that had betrayed her on her show with James Fry, A Million Little Pieces or some bullshit, some book he wrote? And then it turns out he had plagiarized or did something. And it was a big interview she had, and then she had him back on the show. And she was up there with a popped collar from hell, and she gave him the business. So I just don't need her to be in some gentle spot where as if they're victims and all this. I need you to give them hard ass questions. You see what I'm saying? My first question would be, why did your bitch ass lie on paper, in court, in front of a jury, in front of a judge, to the entire world? In every interview you did, you said nothing happened. Why is your bitch ass talking now? That's exactly how the first question should be, and that's how it should be worded. Because, like I say, Oprah has interviewed every and anybody. She doesn't need this interview. Why this interview? Why, Oprah? Let us read. Quote, I'm going to get it, the talk show host predicted during a taping of the broadcast on Wednesday at the New York Times Center. Remember, she's the one that when Raven Simone, when she was interviewing Raven Simone, she goes, I'm not African American. I'm just an American. And she goes, oh, child, please don't. She got it from her seat. She said, oh, child, please don't. You gonna set the Twitter on fire? Like, she was like, dude, she was trying to give her a chance. Like, do you know what the fuck you just said? Your life is about to be blown up by a grenade. You don't even understand. So she knows. So this is a quote. You see? And this is variety. You're not gonna quote Oprah if she didn't say it. Some say because she will own Variety the next day. Quote, I'm gonna get it, end quote. The talk show host predicted during a taping of the broadcast on Wednesday at the New York Times Center. So they taped this on Wednesday at the New York Times Center. But Winfrey argued the issue of sexual abuse is too important to remain silent no matter how much her program angers the Gloved One's fans. Oprah, you don't want this. You've done every fucking show on sexual abuse. This is no more important than any of the other ones and therefore thusly does not deserve any more elevated attention than any of the others. Because if you're going for this interview, you're so concerned about sexual abuse, where is your interview then of all of the bitches that claim R. Kelly did something, whether we believe them or not? And we don't. You're willing to sit down with these two white motherfuckers who we don't believe. R. Kelly's still living. Michael's dead. You see, it's this whole, my best friend called me from Florida day before yesterday. And he said to me, what do you think, man, about all of this women stuff now? Because we were talking about the Oscars. He had brought up the Oscars. And then he asked me, did I see the Grammys? And I was like, yeah, it is, man. Like, I am here for our women. Just ours. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. You understand? Black women is all I give a fuck about of the female species. Let me be clear. But as I said to him, and I'm someone who loves to see women do shit that is typically they not supposed to do or can't do or have been limited or whatever. Like, I even get excited when I'm out driving and I see an 18-wheeler and it's a female at the wheel. I love that so much. I'm like, you go, girl. Damn it. I love that, y'all. I love that. I love that so much. I love that. And I love to see women go. I do. But I want to see it be organic, not like it's a thing, like it's the flavor of the month. I'm over it. Just like this bullshit. Everything is sexual assault and bullying and everything but black folks. You see, that's what it's really about in my eye. Hey, let's focus on women's rights. Let's focus on bullying. How about sexual assault? How about hashtag me too? How about hashtag me bitch? How about hashtag fuck all of that? Hashtag black folks bitch first. Hashtag reparations in this bitch. You see, everything else is insignificant to me. Because in my mind, there'll be no suffering by any group or individual that is equal to, in any way, that of African people for centuries in this bitch. Anything next to us is a paper cut, and I don't want to see it. And I definitely don't want to see motherfuckers, goddammit, coming out 50 years after the fact. I don't give a fuck what happened to you. Don't give me this, I just didn't have the strength to come forward. We're being sold a bill of goods on that. And so are the victims. You see? They're being sold that. There's a different reason why people don't tell. There's a different reason. Different reason. Damn it. So I don't want to hear about victims. I don't. I'm not interested. If you're not going to come out
at least in the same year of anything that's happened to you, I don't want to hear from you. I can't. Because it's becoming a thing now. Every time you turn around, it's a victim. It's a victim. It's a victim. And the shit is always antiquated. I'm a victim, but it happened 80 years ago. I'm a victim, but it happened 50 years ago. I'm a victim, but it's 30 years ago. Then you're not a victim anymore. You have moved on. Because what I know more than anything on earth is time heals all things. As my grandmama used to say, if you just live. If you just live. And I also know that some people love to be in that space of I'm a victim. Like just attention and shit. You know, it can be from the most major to the most minuscule. I'll even start low. When I was in marching band in high school, it was always a bitch that had to have a brace on while she played her clarinet in competition. You don't march. You get your ass. You say, or they had to have something special. I have something special. You just want to be seen. Take your bitch ass, you're not competing. I've seen that. Or you have the person that comes to work and they want, you know, they're putting on something like they've got all these problems, or they have a cold, or there's something bad is happening or something. I don't do well with that, and I'm a very compassionate person. I will cry harder than you over something that's happening to you. So I'm the perfect person to speak on this, because I know fakery when I see it. And I'm not here for it. Damn it. I'm just not. And I'm definitely not here for any white people talking about victimhood. Certainly a white male. You understand? So, I don't believe you even, Oprah. I don't believe you. Because what does it say? But Winfrey argued the issue of sexual abuse is too important to remain silent. You're right. Then if you believe that, then why does your bitch ass need to do this interview? Huh? And you're doing this shit before their shit even airs. The Lifetime shit of R. Kelly already aired 3 nights or some bullshit. Where was your ass at, Oprah? You see what I'm saying? If you couldn't have been there, you could have dispatched Gail. Indeed, she did dispatch Gail, because Gail's bitch ass interviewed the brothers. But her whole tone was not like I'm a black woman talking to black men. It was I'm a white bitch with black face, and I'm sitting here asking you these neutral ass questions as if I don't have an opinion on anything. But I lean like I don't believe Michael or some bullshit. You know what? I'm getting worked up, everybody. I'm getting worked up. I am. I am. And not only that, I need Oprah to understand. She said she goes, and it says, she it's too important to remain silent no matter how much her program angers the quote gloved ones fans. Well, let me tell you something, Oprah. You might be big, but last time I understood it, I've heard you in several things where your show was not even seen. There's places in the world where they don't even know you. Well, understand this, bitch. Michael Joseph Jackson's face and name is instantly recognizable anywhere on this planet we call Earth. You will never be as famous as him. There's a whole lot of people to be pissed off by you with this bullshit. You have underestimated the wrath. And you will pay for your lack of vision. This I promise you. Watch and see. This movie transcends Michael Jackson. No, how can it transcend him when it's about him? That's like, we've transcended race. That's their dream. Transcending race just means the niggers have forgotten that we're evil and we're the devil. I'm on your ass 24/7. This movie transcends Michael Jackson, end quote. She told an audience of more than 100 abuse survivors. It allows us to see societal corruption. No, there's a bunch of ways you could have did this. You could have just did an independent piece about sexual abuse and societal corruption. You didn't need these motherfuckers, and you don't need to mention Michael Jackson's name. And your fat ass has sat on the couch and talked to Paris and Catherine and the whole family. Her plane's going down. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. Because you must understand something about the energy of the universe, everybody, and how the divine works. I know when I have pissed off the Creator, or when I've gone against Him in some way. God has taught me this in my life since I was a child. And I call it disrespecting the blessing. You see, the moment you disrespect the blessing, something bad happens. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to disrespect the blessing. Because when you do, bad things happen. That's real, everybody. I promise you. Wallahi, I promise you. And so, to me, this I identify from a spiritual realm. She is disrespecting the blessing. And there will be wrath. And maybe, just maybe, I haven't read it and I don't know the dates and how these correlate, but we're definitely going to the $58 million loss to see what that's about, because maybe that is part of the wrath that she's receiving for going against the blessing. You understand? Because also, what I also know is when you go against one of God's servants, like I've noticed in my life, anytime anybody goes against me, finally I got to a point in my life that I started vocalizing. I would warn people, bad things are going to happen to you. You have gone against me. Now bad things will happen to you. God is going to get you. Watch what I tell you. And it comes to pass. I know that I always strive for what is right. It is my first foot in everything that I do. I'm always in the place of fear of God. The fear of God. I told you guys, before I moved to where I live now, the place I lived before, I was there for 10 years. When I first moved there, I was like, oh my God, there's a backyard. It's beautiful. It's fenced in. I can plant my basil and my tomatoes. And I'm going to plant it. I'm going to plant this. I'm going to plant that. And it's going to be perfect. It's going to be amazing. But there was cats. I'm from the south side of Chicago. I could have just put some fucking rat poison out for they bitch ass and been over a fucking cat. But my fear of God in the last day, I couldn't do it. I'm not going to hell over a damn cat. So in all the 10 years that I lived there, I never planted a single seed of anything because of the cats. Fear of Allah in the last day. You see? And so she has been given something special. But I believe Michael Jackson was one of God's servants. Allahu Alam. I know he couldn't have been perfect because nobody is. Only the prophets from God are perfect. Only the prophets are perfect. So, if you're not a prophet, you're not perfect. So we know Michael was not perfect. But we only have evidence of good and piety from this man. She has gone against one of God's servants. And she will be punished for that. Her plane is going down. It's either that or the 58 million. We're going to find out. All right. This movie transcends Michael Jackson. She told an audience, okay, we read that. Beware of people who just want to be around your children, Winfrey added at another point during the hour-and-a-half long taping. The program will air on March 4, after the second and final episode of the upcoming HBO documentary, Leaving Neverland. A 4-hour investigation into the claims of Jackson accuser, Wade Robson and James Safechuck. Well, listen. Wade Robson ex-girlfriend was on some radio show. She is the daughter of Jackie Jackson, the oldest one. I can't remember her name, but apparently she and Wade have known each other since they were children. And then it grew into they were friends, and then and now they were boyfriend and girlfriend because he was like family to them, and their moms their families know each other. They all know the Jacksons, and okay, fine. And I've seen Wade with my own eyes because I like I told you guys I saw Michael in concert 3 times for the Bad tour. Um, I saw him, and I saw fucking Wade Robson, and even the first accuser that they were trying to blur out his face and all that when the first allegations came out, I knew who that was because Michael used to bring out all these kids at the end, and there was a couple of the kids that he had outfits that were just like his, like you were totally like exactly like Michael's the bad outfit, but the kids had it on. You feel me? And Wade was one of those kids, and so was the other accuser kid. I've seen both of those children with my own eyes. I've seen them. All right. So then it says now Wade Robson and this James somebody. Winfrey was joined on stage by the two assholes and by director asshole for a talk that mixed moments of uplift with tears, stories of horror, and a series of final cathartic hugs. Oprah made it clear that she finds the men's allegations credible. That now I'm done with her ass. That's it. That's it. Now we're done with her ass. We're done. Because, bitch, you also owe your life to Michael Jackson. We were here for Michael Jackson and Oprah Winfrey live around the world.
I was singing, wait. I gave my money, I gave my time, I gave her everything in life one heart could find. It doesn't seem to matter and it doesn't seem right, but the will is brought no fortune, still I cry alone and night. Don't you judge of my composure, cause I'm bothered every day, and she didn't.
It was one of the largest television audiences in history. Your fat ass sat up there and you interviewed Michael. He allowed you in. I'm telling you guys, we got to just start fucking getting rid of people. Gladys Knight's bitch ass is out. I already told y'all, fuck Gladys. You know what I'm saying? We got to start just throwing people out and throwing them away and getting rid of them and say you don't belong to us anymore. Because the times are too critical. We don't have the luxury to absorb shit like this. We don't have any other choice. You understand? I'm canceling OWN. So I'm not even going to see the damn thing. I'm canceling OWN. So y'all gonna have to tell me about it. All right, but the Jackson estate has pushed back aggressively. And she also interviewed Jackie Jackson. He came and surprised her in her office with a bouquet of flowers, and they went to lunch, and she was telling him how she said I have a crush on him when she was growing up, and she knew she was going to marry him, and la la la, and all this. Just like you didn't need to do this. You could have done this is for somebody that's thirsty that needs a fucking interview to do. You said give this to fucking Diane Sawyer's bitch ass or something, or Cynthia McFadden, or fucking Barbara Walters' nosy bitch ass or something. Not you, Oprah. Because they know the main people they trying to piss off is black people. You see, Michael fans in general, because Michael was international as far as race and all that stuff went, as far as his fans. Like any of his audience looked like the world. I'm just saying, the devils that be, this is targeted for black folks. The other people are just collateral damage. You understand? And so they get her fat ass. She should have said, I don't want anything to do with this. Michael Jackson is gone. He's dead. And that's it. If anything, she could have used her voice to condemn this damn documentary as a whole. And she could have condemned anyone who was even thinking about interviewing them. When she puts up those hands and says anything, it happens. She could have put her hands up and said, this is not right. Michael Jackson is not living anymore. And I think we should just let this whole thing rest. And that would have been the headline story. Instead, it's this. I can't. Because let us remember, Oprah and all y'all other fake ass bitch ass people. Michael Jackson was found not guilty by an all white devil ass jury in a white county in California with a white judge. You understand? And a white prosecutor. This dude was found not guilty on something like 13 charges or whatever, however many charges it was. You don't get any more not guilty than that. But the Jackson estate has pushed back aggressively against the two assholes, dismissing them as opportunists and perjurers. Before going public with his abuse claims in 2013, Robson's fake ass was one of Jackson's most vociferous defenders, denying the pop star had ever behaved inappropriately and serving as a key defense witness in Jackson's 2005 child molestation trial. The other asshole testified that he was never abused as part of the singer's 1993 molestation trial, but declined to testify on his behalf in the follow-up trial. Both assholes say they were groomed by Jackson to stay quiet. He repeatedly told them that their lives would be ruined if they broke their silence. He told me it was love, said fucking fake-ass Rob. He told me God brought us together. Jackson's supporters say these assholes are trying to get rich. They cite as evidence the fact that the men's lawsuits seeking damages from the estates were dismissed because of statutes of limitation issues. They denied to Oprah that they were seeking financial gain, with Reed adding that the men are not being compensated for their involvement in the documentary. We don't believe that. We do want to know if Oprah's paying their bitch asses. Reed also addressed criticism that his film is one-sided and fails to include interviews with friends and colleagues of Michael. Quote, it's not about Michael, he said. It's about what happened to Wade and James. No, it's not, you fucking liar. Because you wouldn't be calling it Leaving Neverland. You would call it sexual abuse of grown-ass, lying, fake-ass men who are secretly gay. Don't tell me it's not about Michael. Oh my God! Damn it! Where's my punch? May they all burn in hell. That's my prayer. May they burn in hell. May they be tortured in their graves. And by Allah, may they suffer in this life as well for their intentional acts of evil. Amen. Amen. Reed also noted that there are some points that Michael's supporters do not contest, namely Michael's penchant for sharing a bedroom with children. Listen, everybody, I got that when it first ever was mentioned. It was never an issue for me because there is no age where you can't be in bed with somebody. Do you understand? There are 9 children, and I'm the last child from my mama. Everybody's older than me. I promise you, in my 20s, which I'm still in my 20s. Settle down. Stop typing. Stop typing. All right. In my 20s, I can feel somebody typing. I can feel somebody typing. Stop it. Settle down. Even now, even though I don't communicate with my damn family, even now, I could go to, there are sisters of mine, I could go to their house and I can get in bed with them. And we pull covers just like we did when we were kids. That's brothers and sisters even. So this children in bed bullshit is like, it's a non-issue for me. It's like Michael used to say, you know, it's only, you're trying to make it sexual. You're making it sexual. And it's not. It's pure. It's love. You know, he was talking about, you know, we'll have milk, we'll have cookies, I read stories, we watch a movie or something, and it's love. It's love. You know? And I get it. Damn it, I would have been in bed with Michael. That's my truth. That's my truth. Because it would have been about, isn't this fun? Isn't this fun? And let's be silly. And I'm a grown ass man. I would get the fuck in bed with Michael Jackson. I do it. Because you're not on that level. Do you understand? People that don't get it just aren't on the level. They don't get it. They're not understanding true human humanity and true human experience. You know, those are the same people that would frown at everybody sitting around and eating with their hands out of the same plate of something. I love that. I love that. Ah, I love that so much. Get with some of my Muslim brothers, and you go to anybody's house, you fix food, we have food, and then everybody's just digging in with their hands and eating. It's the most, I love that so much, I can't even articulate it to you. Because it's a level of humanity. You know, it's kind of like the Million Man March. I know I'm way off topic now, y'all. But it's kind of like the Million Man March, you know. I always tell anybody that wasn't there, this isn't something you could watch on TV. There was an intimacy between the brothers out there. There was an intimacy. It just was beautiful. And I love moments of humanity like that. I love that so much. So anyway, when they're saying, what was it now? In the case of Jackson, the pop singer allowed him to attract families. Well, no, that's not where I was at. Namely Jackson's penchant for sharing his bedroom with children. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Not a damn thing. You understand? Listen, my father passed away in 2009, everybody. And I tell you, the only reason why I wasn't sleeping in my father's bed when I would go to my sister's house to spend weekends with him is because the bed wasn't big enough. So I'd make a pallet on the floor in his room, and we were like two kids, you know. But my grandmother, even when I was already into my adulthood, and if I go to my grandmama's house, I know I could still get in bed with my grandmama. I could still get in bed with my grandmama. Look, I only got one journey through life, damn it. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do. When my intentions are pure and there's nothing ill about it. I loved sleeping with my grandmother. Oh, if she was alive right now, I would be on my way. Grandma would come up and spend the night. Can I get in your bed? Come on, you know. It's love, everybody. It's just it's a human connection, and I get it. And you know, Michael was not somebody who was you know, given to doing anything that was ill to children. You know, it didn't have to be just sexual. He wasn't going to do anything ill to a child. He loved children so much. And so do I, because I do see God in children. Not the ones y'all done already polluted. Like, take their ass and dump them in a river someplace. I'm over their little ass. You see? But when you have children who you can still see their purity on them, their angel wings are still there. Behold, I just seen Papoose and Remy Ma. They was on the reel, and they brought the golden child with them. And I cried watching that segment. Because when they showed the baby, I just said, behold, because I see the majesty of the divine in this young baby, this little baby. When you think about how complex the human body is, and all of that has to come together perfectly. And then you looking at Remy Ma, and she is the vessel that carried this child. It's just too much. It sits you down in tears when you really understand what you're looking at. You have to sit down and weep. Behold. And then to see Papoose holding this baby, and just that image of that black father holding his little baby girl going around international television, what made it even more than I had to cry for that. Subhanallah. Anyways, let's move on so I can finish dragging Oprah's fat ass. What lie were we at? Penchant for sharing a bedroom with children. It's beyond doubt that Michael spent the night with many young boys, he said, adding, what is at issue here is what happened when the bedroom door closed and the lights went out. I'm over it. Leaving Neverland isn't just about Jackson's alleged crimes. Just a second. Isn't just about Michael's alleged crimes. But up here you just said it's not about Jackson. See? Forked tongue, white devil. It's not about Jackson. If they're breathing, they're lying. If there's a pulse, they're lying. So I'm saying it's not about Jackson. And then we come right down here. It's not just about Michael. You see? It's not just about Jackson's crimes. The asshole said. It's interested in documenting the ways that sexual predators groom young boys. In the case of Jackson, the pop singer, celebrity and wealth. The pop singer's celebrity and wealth allowed him to attract families with young children and to deflect their questions when he spent an inordinate amount of time with their kids. At the time of the alleged assaults, Michael was one of the top acts in music. One of, bitch? One of? I'm never going to accept that shit. Because you got to show me another one. If he's one of, then there must be another one. And there isn't. As a moneymaker who was never without an entourage of handlers and servants. Well, you're contradicting yourself. Who was never without an wait now, we're going to get this. Who was never without an entourage of handlers and servants. Huh? So then when did he have any time to do anything to anybody? Because you just said he was never without an entourage of handlers and servants. Huh? Not only that, everybody, you mentioned that he is someone who has wealth and celebrity. Then there's child trafficking that goes on around the earth. Michael could have just phoned up somebody and said, yeah, that child trafficking shit that's going on, get me some kids. You see? And he could have had some kids stashed away at fucking Neverland that nobody even knew who they were or where they fucking came from if it was that serious. It's not. I can't. But you know what? and this is no shade at Michael, but this is a cautionary tale to other black folks. This is why you cannot trust white people for any fucking thing. Because everybody that's ever accused Michael has been white. You understand? They always turn on you, period. So this is inconsistent. Winfrey's fat ass and others expressed disbelief that no one else knew what was going on. Well, because nothing did. And by the way, the trial was held in Oprah's fucking neighborhood. This might be about that $58 million, y'all. I'm telling you, something bad is about to happen to Oprah. Mark my words. It was very rare that Michael was alone. Robson's lying ass noted. And I want to say this before I go on, because I said this with Joan Rivers, because the Palestinians have been suffering forever, you understand? And they are Muslims. They are Muslims. And they've been fighting since before we were born. That's a real statement. You understand? And yet, and still, these fucking fake-ass Zionists can't get rid of them. But here's my main point. Joan Rivers, fake ass. She went too far. She spoke against the servants of God. This was early on when I first started. It was early on in my YouTube career. Somebody sent me something on Google Plus. It was a clip of her, and she was saying they need to just kill all of them. They need to just kill all of them, or whatever. Some bullshit she was saying. And I could have typed a whole diatribe. And the only thing I typed was, "Don't worry, she'll be dead soon." 2 days later, the bitch was dead. Don't play with me. You understand? So sadly, something bad is about to happen to Oprah. And maybe, like I said, maybe it's the 58 million. I have to look at the dates and see what's going on and know when this happened and that happened, and maybe that's the thing. But something bad is going to happen to her now. Something bad. Something, because she's going against Michael. She's going against Michael. And also, how dare you do this when his mother is still living? His mother is devastated by the death of Michael. Devastated. And your fat ass sat down and spoke with Catherine. She couldn't even get the words out when she would speak of Michael. You had to hold her hand. And now, while she still lives and breathes, you would sit down, Oprah. Don't give me this in the name of fucking child abuse, bitch. Because the abuse of black people in this bitch is way more important than any fucking child abuse that's ever going to happen on the goddamn earth. Certainly with any fucking white people coming forth 20 years after the fact or some bullshit. I'm over it. Both the assholes said it took them years to come to grips with what happened to them as children. Robson's fake ass suffered 2 nervous breakdowns, and the other asshole had insomnia and depression. White folks always have insomnia and depression. You understand? Because they're on pills and they're always on a bunch of shit, so that's out. Robson's fake ass had breakdowns because he was a failure. You understand what I'm saying? Go and listen to his ex-girlfriend, Jackie's daughter, talking about she's serving up a bag of receipts on his ass. How shit failed for him, how the family had embraced him, how much he learned from Michael. And I will say this, as a choreographer, I know his choreography when I see it. He's a damn good choreographer. I just have to tell it. I just have to tell it. Wade Robson's stuff is like, it's up there. But it's that transformative stuff, like with Paula Abdul or Anthony Thomas, you know, that type of choreography. When choreography like that came along, it just changed everything. Before Paula Abdul, it was jazz hands and ball changes and shit. It just changed everything. It just changed everything. Michael Peterson, when he did Thriller, that is legendary. And then when we saw Rhythm Nation, it's over. Like that that's over. Like, it's nothing else to be done after that. It's nothing else to be done.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
Every dancer on earth, when we first saw Rhythm Nation, we fainted and had to be carried to rushed into the ICU and put on an IV drip. It was so like, I can't, what is happening in my life right now? Even when Janet first did Control on the American Music Awards, it was like, what the fuck did she just do? What happened? What happened? You're talking about earth-shaking choreography. And like I say, Wade Robson is in that class of people that his work is, when you see it, you go, that's Wade Robson. He's a good choreographer. I have to give him that. But, like his ex-girl, Jackie's daughter, said he was supposed to do some things and then would have snatched out from under him. He turned on the family and then all this shit basically started. You know? I don't believe it, dude. I don't believe it. I can't. I can't. What lie were we at? He had insomnia and depression because the bitch was on pills. And yet their feelings toward Michael are complicated. They still admire his music. And the other asshole, who seemed to be more vulnerable of the more vulnerable of the two liars, still grapples with guilt after going public with his claims, because you know you lying. And not only that, you talking about mute R. Kelly, shut down R. Kelly and all the bullshit, pull his shit from streaming, pull it from this and pull it from that, and you telling me you still admire his music? And you supposed to be the victim? When you got people that aren't even the victims that are shutting off R. Kelly? But you're a victim, allegedly? and you still admire his music. If you did some shit to me, I don't admire a fucking thing about you. You understand? And I freeze you out as if you never existed on earth ever. 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 I don't care if you was related to me. It's like you never existed. The documentary has thrust the two asshole liars and their families back into the public spotlight, exactly where they wanted to be. They've not only had to contend with a combative Jackson estate and angry fans of the singer, but lying ass Robson has received death threats. However, Robson and the other asshole were warmly received by an audience that had suffered similar traumas. It was a crowd that included ER star Anthony Edwards, who has accused writer-producer Gary Goddard of molesting him, and from Philadelphia Eagles linebacker Al Chelsea. I know these fucking people. Another abuse survivor, as well as CBS This Morning host and Oprah's best friend Gail Goddammit King. Robson's lying ass expressed surprise at the audience response. Quote, "I never witnessed public support before," he offered. "I expected to be bushwhacked and mowed over." Why did he use the word bushwhacked, everybody? I take offense to this word. Bushwhacked. That's a racist term. You understand? That's a racist term. That's a racist term. That's a racist term directed at black people. I expected to be bushwhacked. But it just went right over fucking Gail and Oprah. Fake ass bitches. As for Safe Chuck, he's been grappling with the aftershocks of the abuse he claims he suffered. "This moment will end and I'll still have a lot of work to do," he said, while lowering his head and weeping gently. And scene. I'm being told in my ear doesn't say that last part. I'm being told. Damn it, I'm being told. Thanks, team. You guys are great. You guys are amazing for keeping me on the straight and narrow, because I couldn't do it without you. This is some bullshit. This is unadulterated, proclaimed bullshit. For the reasons that I've cited, there's no need for Oprah to do this. Let's look at this $58 million bullshit, everybody. Let's see if I can find some connection here. Oprah Winfrey stock portfolio took a major hit earlier this week on her Weight Watchers investment. You see? Because what Oprah don't understand is all the money she got, you are not allowed to die rich and pass on wealth in this bitch. Not even you, Oprah. You see? And you just grinning up in these white men's faces and shit and all this, and I can't, dude. I can't. These are the enemy of our people until the end of the fucking earth. You don't need to be grinning up in their goddamn face for any reason at all. I can't. Took a major hit earlier this week. Okay, when is this dated? I'm just going to need a date. March 1. So she did the taping on Wednesday. Wednesday was not the 1st. Wednesday would have been before the 1st. Let's see, my birthday was on Monday. That's the 25th. Tuesday, Wednesday, 6, 7. That would have been the 27th of February. So Wednesday she does the thing. Let's find. Okay, and this is dated March 1. So let's see, when did it take the hit? Took a major hit this week. When? The 65-year-old mogul, who owns more than 8% of the wellness company, lost nearly $58 million on paper Wednesday morning as the company's stock plunged. That's $58 million with an M. Details below. As we all know, the beginning of the year is the most crucial time for healthy living ventures as the new year
diet trends begin. Apparently this year, Weight Watchers wasn't top of the list for most dieters as its shares fell 36.1% in early trading Wednesday to 18. Boom, there it is, everybody. Wednesday is when she taped the bullshit. Wednesday is when her fucking stock fell. Allah is punishing her. She's going against Michael Jackson, who is one of his servants, and she's going against his mother. Bitch, your stock fell and your plane is going down. This is just the beginning. You understand? Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. I tell you, I know how the universe works, everybody. And not because I'm brilliant. Let me be very clear about that. No. It's because of what Allah has taught me. I am a student of my Creator. And He allows me to see. It's like I tell you guys when I've covered Dr. King, when I tell you that mountaintop speech that he gives in the church the night before he's killed, and I tell you that whole when he goes out, he goes, because God has allowed me to go up to the mountaintop. He's allowed me to go up to the mountaintop, and I've looked over and I've seen. And I always tell you, there's something in that scene that goes all the way through my soul and everything when he says seen. There's more that he can't even say because there aren't words for it. Seen the promised land. I know what he's talking about. But I tell you, because I was ready to end the video and I gotta go, wait, we gotta go look at the 58 million bullshit because I need to see if there's any correlation there because I know how the universe works. So here it is. Apparently this year Weight Watchers wasn't the top of the list. Which would be an aberration because everybody's getting in shape at the beginning of the year. I'm going to lose 50 pounds and I'm going to the gym and I won't be a fat bitch and the whole thing. All right, so, but no. Out of nowhere, it's an aberration. Out of nowhere. Because that's Allah turning it on a dime. That's Allah turning it on a dime. On a dime. Weight Watchers wasn't top of the list of most dieters as its shares fell 36.1% in early trading Wednesday. Wow. To $18.90 after the company reported Tuesday that it was disappointed with our start to 2019. Weight Watchers rebranded as WW in 2018 with Winfrey's blessing, aiming to ride a wave of interest in wellness and natural ingredients. But the pivot away from a clear focus on weight loss could be what's hindering interest. Weight Watchers CEO Mindy Whitebitch said in a statement that the company has had a, quote, soft start to 2019 versus last year's strong performance since its early year recruitment period did not go well. This Mindy person also said, also notes that Oprah has personally agreed to, quote, play a central role in our upcoming TV and digital marketing campaign, end quote, to regain momentum. Winfrey first invested in Weight Watchers in 2015, acquiring 10% of the company for $6.79 per share, and the stocks surged after her endorsement in the company. While her shares remain nearly 3 times their original value at the time she invested, the current stock value is off 82% from its 52-week high of $105.73 per fucking share. I guess that means we should look for more motivational weight loss commercials from Mother O soon. No, bitch, you're going down. Because you're disrespecting the blessing. This is arrogance. It is collusive. But more than that, it's just morally wrong. You know, Michael Jackson is dead. And as I've said to you all, it's more than just his fame. You should be asking God, as I do, what you should be learning from his existence on the earth. Why did Allah allow this man to come to earth and be that famous? He's the most famous human being known to all of civilization.
And if you know who your creator is, then you know what questions you should be asking. You see? So you should be pondering, why was this guy here? What was I supposed to learn from him? What was I supposed to learn from him? What was God saying to us by having this person be here? You know? I still contemplate Michael's death. I still contemplate, you know. One of the big things, one of the big obvious, his death reminds us that no matter how bright your light, we all have an appointment with the grave. An appointment with the grave, and you will not be escaping that. You will not. You will not. You will not. The most famous human being ever known to civilization, and there they were with this little stretcher taking him off the helicopter. A man who couldn't appear anywhere without hundreds of thousands of people appearing out of nowhere and screaming his name and fainting and falling out. There was nobody. And then when they put his body in the van and the helicopter shot of it following the coroner's van down the street, there was no escort. There was no hoopla. It had all gone silent. All of it. All of it. You know? So you need to contemplate that as well, too. You know, don't get so wrapped up in this life, everybody. Live for the hereafter, and your character will change. Live for the hereafter. Live for the day that you will meet your Maker. And fear Him in the last day. Fear Him in the last day. Know that He is not your friend that you can pick up and put on a shelf and take off and I change my mind and all the bullshit. No. God is very serious. You see how profound His creation is. You see how profound just you are. Just look at yourself naked in the mirror. Just stand and look at yourself in the mirror and contemplate your existence. That should send you to the hospital. Just that alone. Before you even get to anything else. That should send you to the hospital with just being overwhelmed. That should send you to the hospital. When you look at just the perfection and the divinity in you, you should fall over and faint. I mean that. I mean that. So she has angered the universe. She has angered the universe. It's not a mistake that these things both happened on Wednesday. She does the interview, stock falls. You understand? And sadly, I look for something else to happen. Sadly. But the universe is never late. You know? And so it has already begun to move. She did this interview on the same day, and her stock fell, which we know that means that the interview, they didn't plan it and do it that same day. It was planned for that day. It had been talked about. The location had been scheduled. You understand? Who was going to light it? Who's going to shoot it? All that stuff. The crew. Hair and makeup. That stuff had already been discussed. That didn't just happen on Wednesday. You see? So it was scheduled to be executed on Wednesday, and this should happen on Wednesday. That is the universe, everybody. That's the universe. And one thing I know about Oprah, she knows the whisper like I do. She knows it. So I don't know if she just didn't get it this time, or she's I don't know what's guiding her right now. But I know she knows the whisper. That I know. I know that for sure. She knows it. She knows it.
The universe speaks to us always. First, in whispers. And a whisper usually in your life feels like, that's odd. Or, that doesn't make any sense. Or, is that right? It just really feels like that. It's that kind of subtle. And if you don't pay attention to the whisper, it gets louder and louder and louder. And I say, it's like getting thumped upside the head. You don't pay attention to that. It's like getting a brick upside your head. You don't pay attention to that, the brick wall falls down. Life is about growth and change. When you are no longer doing that, that is your whisper. That is your whisper that I am supposed to do something else.
So, to my ladies who made me aware of this, especially my Muslima, Assalamu alaikum, I thank you. And we'll just see what happens, everybody. Like I said, I won't be watching the interview. I won't be watching it. You know, I will be canceling OWN. And so I won't be able to see it. I won't be able to, you know. And just like with anything, if you live, you'll see it eventually, you know. So I'm sure it'll show up online, or, you know, it'll be something. It'll be somewhere, you know, or outtakes or some bullshit. I'll see some of it at some point. But I won't be watching it. I won't, you know. And I'm just highly disappointed that Oprah went down this road, because her reasoning for it is very weak and artificial, as if they're the only people on earth that have been allegedly abused, and like this is a first time case. This is a woman who came off of 25 years of a #1 show where she's talked to every victim that's ever been known to humanity. And now you want me to believe, Oprah, that this interview is so important because it's sexual abuse? I don't believe you. That's what makes it even more egregious. If you weren't who you were, you know, if Barbara Walters was doing it, it'd be like, fuck her, but at least it would almost kind of make sense. Like, of course she's going after the ratings. Of course the old bitch is going like, fuck Barbara Walters, bitch, you know. But it's more egregious that it's Oprah, you know. It's more egregious because she is better than this. This is the woman who stopped doing the Jerry Springer type of television and went to change your life television. You know, she wasn't going after no more sensational stuff. And then she's #1 for 25 years. Allah has blessed her. You understand, when she started her magazine, they go, you know, you won't be profitable until about the 5th year. The bitch was profitable the first month, everybody, and has been ever since. I got some statistics on Oprah. People that don't appreciate her don't know the story. They don't know the story. They don't know it. 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 You know, things like when she commissioned Toni Morrison's book for Beloved, she sent her team and said, give her whatever she asks without negotiation. I got 1 million of them. You understand? Her story is so incredible, and it's such a unbelievable life that she's been allowed to have now. Unbelievable. There's nothing on earth she can't have. You know, and then on top of that, to be in a level of esteem with people around the earth that know you, that are just like, that's Oprah. When she speaks, the whole world listens. Although I think Michelle Obama's edging her out. But that's like the sweet kiss on top of the blessing. You see, it's enough that Allah has given you all these worldly things. And on top of that, you are beloved. That's the kiss. I always tell you, Allah gives you the gift and the kiss, everybody. You get the gift and the kiss. When Allah gives you something extraordinary, there's always something else on top of it that would be enough, and then He gives you something else on top of that, like, I could have been good with just this, and I get this too. That's the kiss. There's the gift and the kiss. You see? The gift and the kiss. Allah has taught me and continues to teach me His signs, everybody. You can't navigate this life successfully without knowing the signs. And she has made a very critical error. Very critical. She's disrespected the gift. And that's why her stock fell. Talk back to me, troops. I love you all. I'll see you soon.